What's up, guys? This is the 6th episode to this bootcamp styled series where I go over the entire strategy that I use for day trading. And as you can tell, this video is on inverse fair value gaps. If you don't know what a fair value gap is, go check out the previous video because I go over it in that video. Well, what is an inverse fair value gap? An inverse fair value gap is when we get a fair value gap and it is disrespected. Since fair value gaps are supposed to be respected, when they aren't, it means that price wants to continue in the direction of the inverse. And this is a lot stronger than regular fair value gaps. So how do you tell if a fair value gap is disrespected? Well, a candle will close in the opposite direction of the fair value gap. Wicks do not count because it has to close. If it is a bullish fair value gap, we should be closing below it for it to be an inverse. And if it's a bearish fair value gap, we should be closing above it for it to be considered an inverse. And this must happen on the same time frame, right? The fair value gap can't be on the 5-minute and we close above it on the 1-minute. That is not considered an inverse. It must be on the same time frame. If it's a 5-minute fair value gap, then we must close above or below it on the 5-minute in order for it to be considered an inverse. All right, you can see we have a bearish fair value gap here. And when we get a close above the fair value gap, this tells us that price wants to continue going upwards. Same thing with a bullish fair value gap. When we inverse it, it tells us that price wants to continue going down. So with this first example, you can see we have a bearish fair value gap here. You can see price does come back to this fair value gap. And then we can see that price closes above, so now this is an inverse fair value gap. And now we know price wants to continue upwards. You can see price continues up, right? Now with this example, you can see that we have a bullish fair value gap here, right? If we play price, you can see we do not get a close below, so this is not an inverse. Now if we play price a little more, you can see now we do have a close below. So now this is considered an inverse fair value gap. So now we know price is going to continue going down, and you can see that it does. That is going to be it on inverse fair value gaps. If you have any questions, make sure you leave it in the comments. Join the Discord, leave a like on the video, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.